All right, guys. Very important to understand the monthly levels, how I'm speaking of them. So let's use this as an example. Euro USD, last month high is right here. Let's go ahead and change that to get it perfect, right on the wick. All right, last month's low. And then you simply put the arrow in between the two lines, and that'll tell you where the middle is. You can see how this line right here is right on the middle. So red is high, middle, low. What you're going to want to do is also get a middle from the middle to the high, that's yellow, middle to the low, that's yellow. So when you go to lower time frames, you can kind of see where you're at. And so that's that. So far, we can see we've been bullish. Last month was its first bearish month in probably half of a year worth of time. And we're going to leave it at that for now. Let's go to the lower time frame. And we can start to see it broke up a little bit. So we know that right now we're underneath the 50% of last month's level. Last 2 weeks, bullish, big move, taking both sides. And then so far this week, we've started off bullish. It was a gap up. And on the lower time frames, you'll see how this low this week so far has not closed the gap. So that's going to be part of the reason why I'm trying to sell is to close the gap. But also I have some ideas of it can go lower. But this is a higher time frame. Things can just go up and down and consolidate right here for literally weeks, or it could take all the news that's going to be happening this week and fast forward all that. So we'll see. But so yeah, we're in the lower half. Can price come up here? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to be able to identify how far that is, and that's roughly about 200 pips from where price is now white to yellow. And we haven't talked about white, but all white is, so we got red being the middle, yellow being the middle of these two, and then white is just the middle from the yellow to the red. All right? And then purple is the middle from the white to the red. So that's what that is. One thing about this structure right now, at least on the weekly, of course the week's not closed yet, but one thing that's looking favorable for sales is this candle right here. Another part of my understanding to the market, I know a discounted entry would be 50% of this wick. So from this close to the high, 50% ironically is landing right where the purple is as well. So that's that, and we can already see it starting to reject on the lower time frames. We'll see more information. So now, there's no reason to really look this far over here. We're just going to keep it to what's on the screen right here. We can see how this candle took this candle's high, and what did it do after it took the liquidity? It went down. So then from there, we have a peak, and where you're going to want to see with peaks, you're going to want to see the peak high. You're going to want to see that peak being taken. So this was the move taking this high. So what's the reaction? The reaction has not happened yet. Is the reaction going to be take the high and not come back low? That'll put us in profit? Or is it going to be take the high, consolidate, take the high again, and then come back low? So those are the different scenarios that I'm already, aware of what could happen. So that's that. That's that on the daily. So we just kind of go to the H4. I want to mark up the monthly open zone for this month. So it's the first 4-hour candle of March is right here. You can barely see it, but I just box it up, drag it across. So I can actually drag it across right now even more. So yeah, that's the monthly zone. So we can see price came up, tested, respected, came up again, took it all, and then came back again. Um, so it's just kind of understand. Now we can see on the 4 hour, like how we were seeing on the daily, we see price took the high right here. What did it do the first time it took it? It came back down, but left some rejection to the downside. And then on the 4 hour, we can see a two candle pullback, bullish, two candle pullback. If this is not going to be a bullish sequence coming up, that's just going to add to my confirmation that this bullish momentum is kind of slowing down. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to take a chance with something. Are you either going to buy or are you going to sell? So my ideas are going to be selling back to the monthly levels to kind of start off. That'll put it at about, let's see, if we go to the middle of this white zone at 0.575, how many pips to where price is now? It's 25 pips from 0.6, which is around this area. So then 120, it's about 140 pips from boom to boom. And then half of that would be to yellow. And then even getting to yellow would be a nice little profit. So, most likely I'll secure the worst position out of the two and then hold the rest and just kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm going to be taking it really slow. My lot size is pretty small, but it's still good enough where if it goes, what we just said, 140 pips for one position, you just take your lot size, which is one lot, which is $10 per pip, times however many pips you foresee coming. So that'll be 1,400. I have two positions, so you just times that by two. But if I secure one at 60, halfway to the real profit target, it'll just be 1,400 divided by two. So one will be $700. The other one will be around $1,400. Or you can be creative and only take half of your first position. So then you'll have $15 going to full 140 pips. So 2,100. So you just got to know your numbers. So whenever the screen starts flashing these numbers, you're not going to be super excited. Or if they start flashing drawdown, do the same for however much drawdown could potentially happen. But I'm looking for this candle high to be the one that holds, because this is where the reaction came for it to continue making new lows and lower lows and lower highs until just this recent reaction last week where it started kind of doing the opposite. We started making higher highs, but we still have an equal low down here at the bottom. So yeah, don't want to get too confusing. What do I see on the H1? This is where I was saying on the weekly, price has not closed the gap yet. The gap was right here when price opened for the week, came down, did not close it. Closing it means exactly where the candle closed right here would need to be price action. And price action was up here, not down here. That means the gap is still closed or open. So that's that. Just like how in the other time frames, we saw how this double top right here was taken. That's part of what you want to see. Now we're starting to see structure on the lower time frame, like the 1 hour. We got a double top. You want to see that taken. And what happened? It went this way. People started putting their stop losses above, and it took it. And then what's the reaction so far? Coming down. So it's a beautiful scenario so far. This does not mean price can't come break up purple and go higher. It will never mean none of that, because price will do what price is going to do. You just have to try to find your edge. There's not really much reason to keep going down lower time frames, in my opinion, whenever you're, working off of certain levels. But what I could do also, just to keep things kind of clean, let's go back to the 1 hour. Find the first 1 hour candle of this trading day, which is right here, this one right here. So I'm going to just simply box it up. It's that bearish candle right there in the middle. I always try to put the beginning of the box at that exact candle. So it looks something like that. So now I can see, all right, price so far when it opened for the day for 2 hours, it stayed within the zone, and then it broke low. We haven't necessarily had a retest of the box yet. Oh, I gotta fix it up. If you're gonna use this type of sense, or not sense, but this type of approach, you got to get the box perfect. So I'm exactly on the high and exactly on the low. And what we can see is when it broke out, price never like tested the zone of the breakout. So there's absolutely reason of price being able to come back. If I have more reason of it's going to be for sure thing, then I would simply just close the position that's going to be in the way of that, and I can just get an entry right here. What else? What else? 15-minute. So the 15-minute, you can see how it did test that box. So when it broke out right here, it came up and tested right to that wick, to the bottom of that box. So those are some of the reasons why I probably wouldn't close this entry. Even if it came back above the white line, it might not come to the box. So I just don't want to give up this entry, and definitely not this entry right here. But both of these scenarios does not mean price can't go above purple and put both positions and draw down, all that. But the lot size, I'll be comfortable with that drawdown. So yeah, definitely no reason to keep going down to the 5-minute. So that's the analysis of Euro USD. It's going to be considered a swing until, swing meaning 24 or 48 hours. If it doesn't want to, if it gives me profit before that period or at that period, then I'm just going to be taking it. Just like the Euro JPY is where I caught most of the profit yesterday. That analysis was already put out to everyone, but pretty much I was interested in sales. Should have been around this area here. Got in, price came down here. I took profit on this wick, and then price was coming back. And when I saw it up here and then coming back down, I got in for a full position. You can see the lot size, what's left is what's just running, which is pretty much nothing. But it just kind of shows where I was at. This is the monthly level, first H4 candle of the month. And then we can see that we were trading below. And if any retests were to come, those would be good opportunities to enter, depending on different things. And then when I did do that, price completely over 8 hours just went, I think this equals about 200 pips. So I took profits at the red just because that's where my line was for the monthly levels. And it kept going, but whatever. And then now that I'm seeing it starting to come back again, so we could potentially get another retest. Not as high, but now the bottom of the box. And if it does that, I'll just be ready to enter again. If it doesn't, I got a small entry. I already made my money on this setup. So it would kind of just be like, all right, whatever. I already caught it for the week. And that's that. So yeah, the 250K count's going pretty good. We've caught our third trade. Our first trade was Euro JPY the first time, where you can see the 789 at the top, 500, and then we caught it again where it says Euro JPY sells the 1200 and the 900, and then you can see where I just take partials when you see Euro JPY. I was in a GJ and a few other things, as you can see, but nothing serious, not the best setup, so those are not going to be the ones that I'm going to spend my time on analysis to the group. And then US 30, I could potentially talk about that a little later, but for now, we're just going to leave it at pending order GJ and the active open Euro USD. Have a good week. We got news coming up, and happy to be able to share this information with y'all. Hopefully it's helping someone get creative with their approach to the market, because that's exactly what it is.